You work for the degree, you've secured the career, the income is flowing. So, why does it still feel like you're barely holding it together financially?
You're not careless, you're not irresponsible, but somewhere along the way, spending became a way to cope, to keep up, or to feel like your hard work meant something.
In this episode, we're pulling back the curtain on a silent struggle many high achieving women they face, living beyond their means while trying to live well.
Yeah, we're talking about the shift that changes everything from spending to impress to stewarding with intention, from looking like you have it all to actually building a life of peace, margin, and legacy.
We're going to talk about how to make room for what really matters most. If you've ever asked yourself, I make good money, so why doesn't it feel like enough? This episode, this one is for you.
Welcome to Wealth and Wisdom Together, the podcast that guides Christian women to financial fulfillment by walking boldly in your steward identity.
We're your hosts, Willa Williams and Wesley Eccles, founders of Trinity Financial Coaching and Sisters in Faith, here to help you align your money with your vision.
If you're a high achieving woman earning well but still wondering, why don't I feel further along? You aren't the only one who feels that way. And we're here to remind you that your path to wealth is unique and spirit-led.
That's why each episode equips you to manage money confidently, live life purposefully, and build wealth intentionally without compromising what matters most.
Because you're listening or watching, you're already on the path. This podcast is here to help you keep going with faith, clarity, and real-life strategy.
So like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss another episode, any episode at all. We're on this journey together.
Welcome to another episode of Wealth and Wisdom Together. We're your hosts, Wesleya
and Willa, and we're financial coaches and kingdom-minded women passionate about helping you unlock your steward identity and confidently navigate your financial journey with peace, purpose, and power.
And if you're a Christian professional woman desiring confidence in money, purposeful living, and intentional wealth, you are in the right place.
And this season, if there's one area that can feel out of alignment in all this chaos, it is our money, especially when it looks good on paper but feels so messy in real life.
So today we're getting into living beyond your means. This is more than cutting back just to save. It's a journey toward realigning with your faith, values, and your future.
So by the end of this episode, you'll understand why this happens, what it's costing you, and how to realign your money with the future God has for you. So let's get into it.
Yes.
So first, we want to talk about culture shock. I've experienced that from time to time. Anyway, we want to talk about why normal, quote unquote, isn't working. Before we get into this conversation, I want you to know that I get it. Like I said, I've had culture shock myself. We work hard. We want to enjoy the fruit of our labor. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think so.
Absolutely not. You're building your career, you're showing up for your family, serving your community, and somewhere in there, you also want to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Maybe treat yourself a little bit.
Oh, boy. But that's where we've got to pause the messaging we're constantly fed that says, you deserve this. You deserve it. Just put it on the card. Treat yourself now. Worry about it later. We have to pause that messaging because it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
And it's not to say that you don't deserve it because, again, like I mentioned, we work very hard. But that message, while it feels good in the moment, I totally get that splurging can feel amazing, right? But sometimes it can lead us into a bit of a tricky situation. And we might end up feeling financially stretched, scrambling to catch up, which can bring on some stress and confusion. And if we're honest, when our spending doesn't quite match what's in our wallet, it can make things tricky.
Yeah, and that's the tension. It looks like you're doing everything right on the outside. But if we're not intentional, we start living beyond our means because culture has taught us to equate abundance with spending, not with stewardship.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah.
And we're not saying you shouldn't enjoy life. We're saying let's redefine what joy and success looks like on your terms, led by wisdom, not by cultural pressure. It's a culture check, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's go deeper. Living beyond your means often stems from mindset, emotions, and identity rather than mere mathematics.
Yeah. Overspending usually masks something deeper.
It does. It
So
really
let's
does.
look at a few heart level reasons why you might be living beyond your means and keep doing it, even though you know better. And we're going to look at that. One of the reasons is you may be trying to prove your worth through your wardrobe, your car, the vacations you take, not out of vanity, but out of validation. Things that say, hey, y'all, look, I made it. We're not just speculating. There's real data that backs this up. According to a lending tree study, a significant number of high income earners, including women, admit to overspending to feel successful.
Wow.
Just to feel, we're going to overspend to make ourselves feel successful. In fact, 52% of people earning 100,000 or more say that they've spent beyond their means to impress others. That's over half, 52%.
Wow.
I mean, it shows that even when the paycheck grows, if our mindset and values aren't anchored, we're still vulnerable to pressure, comparison, and the need to prove something externally. Why do
Wow.
we have to prove something to other people to say that we've made it? We know we made it. And it's not just because of $100,000 paycheck. That's not the reason.
But remember, even in that, your worth was never, ever, ever meant to be proven by your possessions.
Yeah.
And that's where we get tripped up. And because Psalm 139 says you are fearfully and wonderful made, fearfully and wonderfully made. You already have value before you
Yeah.
spend a single dollar. We always remind our clients your self worth doesn't equal your net worth. Like, you
That's
should
right.
not allow what's happening with your dollars to dictate for the better or for the worse your self worth. That has to be something that's intrinsic, that's already inside of you.
Yeah.
Now, another reason is escaping stress with spending. Now, all of us, we carry so much. You carry
Yeah.
so much. Student loans, expectation, and even guilt, sometimes even burnout. So when payday comes, guess what we want to do? We want to alleviate some of that stress.
Yeah.
So that brunch or shopping spree, sometimes it feels like that's the only reward you get.
Yes, you're right. But that temporary comfort can create a long term cycle.
Yeah, it can.
It's a false escape.
Yeah.
Isaiah 26:3 reminds us that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you.
Yep.
Peace comes from presence of God, not purchases.
Yes.
So we want to lean into that Isaiah passage because we want to keep in perfect peace that we receive from the Father. And another thing that we often are subject to is FOMO. Y'all know, fear of missing out and comparison. Now, social media shows everyone else winning. So you join in. Even if your money says, not right now. But FOMO makes you
Yeah.
feel like you've been left behind. You feel left behind. If you
Yeah.
don't, you want to jump in there,
Yeah.
but you don't have to.
This one is big, Willa. I mean, this one is really
Yeah.
big. But I want to remind you Galatians chapter 6, verses 4 teaches us, but each one must carefully scrutinize his own work. In other words, examining your actions, attitudes, and behavior. And then you can have the personal satisfaction of inner joy of doing something commendable without comparing yourself to another. You don't need to match someone else's highlight reel to be in alignment.
And look what you said. It said that passage, your own personal satisfaction and inner joy of
Yes.
doing something
Yes.
commendable.
Yes.
Your own. Fear of
Your
missing out?
own.
Doesn't work.
Another reason that we contend or to live beyond our means is we avoid long-term planning because deep down, planning for the future feels overwhelming or scary. Now, we talked about that in the last episode. You don't want to look at the numbers because you fear what you might find.
So you focus on the now spending to feel
Yes.
better right now in the
YOLO.
short term.
You only
Yes.
live once. Yes.
But remember, you're delaying the financial security that you really crave. Your procrastination and your avoidance may feel safe, but planning is what leads to peace and to that financial security that you are craving.
Yes. So, how would you know if you are living beyond your means?
Yeah.
Well, here are three signs that you might be doing that, even if it doesn't look like it. One, you make a good income, but you have no idea where your money is going. Not a clue. Two, you're relying on credit to cover lifestyle choices. And if you use your credit card for regular purchases, are you paying it off every month? Think about that. Now, we have many clients who use their credit cards for the day to day living, but they know that that is included in their budget. Therefore, they have the cash flow to pay it off every month. If you're putting things on your charge card for lifestyle choices and they're hanging in a balance and you're paying interest on that because it's continually growing your credit card balance, you could be living beyond your means.
That's right.
Number three, you tell yourself, I'll save later, but later never comes. Think about it. How many times have you said that to yourself? I know I need to save. I'm going to do it later. Living beyond your means occurs when your expenditures consistently surpass your income, leading to debt accumulation and financial instability. It's not solely about lavish spending. It often involves subtle, habitual overspending that could erode financial health over time. And I took my time to say that because I wanted to make sure that you hear what I'm saying. It's not always about trying to have a lavish or luxurious lifestyle. It's not or overspending because I want designer purses and I want lavish vacations. It might not even be about that for you, but it could be about a habitual habit of just subtly always spending too much for things in life in general that can erode your financial health over time. And part of that could be connected to the fact that you aren't using a practical working budget.
You know what? As you say that, it just reminds me. I do every expense, grocery, everything on my credit card. And I do it just for convenience. So if somebody is doing this for convenience and you do not pay it off at the end of every month, then, you know, you will end up with more expenditures than you have income coming in. And then you might not think you're living above your means, but just based on what you said, yes, you are
Yes.
living above your means. So convenience, like I use it for, could be one of the reasons why you end up that way if you are not diligent about paying off that credit card at the end of each month.
I use it for convenience and for the points and rewards. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh
So
yeah, I forgot
points and
about them.
rewards, we have mileage as well as hotel. And but like I said, we are disciplined now to pay it off every month.
That's right. And even though I have like an automatic payment set for the bank to pay the credit card every month, I look at exactly what I have spent And if I'm over a little bit, if I got like $200 that is going to go and I know that I've spent three, I'm in there and I'm sending that other $100 to make sure. 'Cause I don't want no late fees. I don't want no
Absolutely.
finance charges. I don't want any of that. But the point is making sure that you are on top of it, making sure that if you're going to use these cards for points, like I do too, for the gas credits, all of that stuff, then just pay it off at the end of the month because it can be helpful. So if this sounds familiar to you, you know, it does sound familiar to us. We live in it. We're telling you, we've been there.
Yeah.
It's not a character flaw. It's just a clarity gap. And that gap can be closed. And we close our gap by making sure that we're on top of it on a regular basis.
100%. Listen, Proverbs chapter 27, verse 23 says, "Be diligent to know the state of your flocks and attend to your herds." Now, in modern terms, basically, know your money and pay attention to how you're managing what God has given you.
That's right. That's right.
Pay attention.
So if you spent it this month, pay it this month.
Yes.
That's it. Very simple.
Yeah.
There are some simple shifts that can bring a big impact. You know, these can be straightforward, consistent steps that build momentum. And we want to talk about 5 powerful ways to start living within your means. And these things, they're really simple and they will make a difference. You'll see. The first thing you can do is track to transform or track your transactions. Track them.
Yeah.
I
Track
go
to transform. If you want to make a change, the first step is awareness.
yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
you have to track to transform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of times I am behind people in line. I don't know, at the deli, at coffee, all those places. And the cashier will say, "Well, would you like a receipt?" And they'll say no. And well, I really don't have much hair, but the hair that I have stands up. And I want to open up my mouth and say, you need to really make sure you take this so that you can track this.
Yeah.
I don't know if they track that way or another way. All I know is that you need to make sure that you are watching it, looking at your bank account or something. But for 1 month, this is what we would like you to do. Track your transformation. For 1 month, track every dollar.
Yeah.
Let awareness be your superpower.
100%.
Superpower.
Like we said, the scripture, know your money, pay attention. This is the first step in order to be able to do that.
That's right. And another step is the spending fast. We always think about fasting when we think about food. Well, this is not food. Choose one category. I don't know. It could be not eating out. It could be taking an Amazon fast.
Ooh. Now, right now, we're not even supposed. Okay, I'm not going there, but we're not supposed to be Amazoning. I have not been doing too well with that. I haven't been to Target and I haven't been to Walmart, but yes, if you do an Amazon pause.
Oh my! I hope the guy don't come up to the door while I'm. I just had that conversation this morning when I got a notice. Some out for delivery. I'm like, so of course I go to my husband. What did you say? What did you order? Oh, I ordered this for the bike and that for your bike, and I'm like, oh my god. Okay. Anyway, choose one category to do a spending fast on, and just hit pause. 30 days. Watch what shifts. Yeah. Watch how your budget comes back into play. Watch how the cash in your pocket is still there. Watch how your bank account, watch how things change. Watch how your mindset changes. Watch how you realize maybe it wasn't a fast. Maybe I just really needed to do that. Hey, can we pause for a moment? If you've been listening and thinking, I want to be more intentional with my money, but I'm not sure what my next step should be, we've created something just for you.
It's called Your First Step to Financial Fulfillment. And it's a free guided audio experience to help you align your money and mindset with clarity and confidence before you ever book a coaching session.
Inside, we walk you through powerful shifts, faith led reflections, and the exact steps we guide our clients through when they're just starting out.
You'll walk away with a clear picture of what's holding you back, where God may be leading you next, and how to finally take that next step without pressure, fear, or overwhelm.
This is the same clarity focus tool we use inside our coaching program, and now we're giving it to you for free.
Tap the link in the show notes or visit www.mytfcoach.com/fulfillment starts here to get instant access, or click the link in our show notes.
Your financial journey deserves clarity, not confusion. Another thing for you to consider is refinance, reassess, or reposition. Could you get a better rate on your car or your student loan? Have you ever thought about refinancing one of those things to a lower rate? Could you downgrade your phone plan? Oh my goodness. Couldn't we all? Stewardship means knowing when to optimize.
And with the repositioning, really that's selling. There may be some assets that you might have to sell. There may be some things that you holding on to that you could be getting rid of. Like, look at your closet. There could be shoes that you haven't worn, outfits that you haven't worn. Put those things on Poshmark or on whatever those resale opportunities are, and sell those things. Reposition some of these items so that you can get the funds back and create room, optimize, right? And also, I just want to say regarding the refinancing of your student loans, if you have government loans, make sure that you maintain government loans. Don't refinance a government
Into a
student
private.
loan for a personal student loan. Be very, very, very careful about that, because Sally Mae and some of the other quote unquote government serviced loans, service providers, have private loans. And there are people who thought just because it was Sally Mae that they got a federal unsubsidized or subsidized loan. And it's not the same. And you don't have the same grace and repayment options and all of
That's
that
right.
with
That's right.
personal loans that you would with government loans. So just be careful, be mindful when you're looking at, trying to get some optimizing, what's going on with your student loan. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, just remember that stewardship really means optimizing it, refinancing, reassessing, and repositioning. Those are some excellent ways to do that. Another way that I think you'll be very happy to hear about is to create a JOY fund.
100%, absolutely.
This really involves intentionality rather than deprivation.
Yes.
Set aside some money on purpose for
Yes.
joy,
Yes.
rest, or any of your other desires in life. Don't deprive yourself of living.
Yes.
Set aside monies so that you can have some fun.
Yes.
So I like
Include it
that.
in your budget. Include it.
Everything you want, put it in there.
Yes.
Oh, and this is a new one that we see a lot now with various commercials. Simplify your subscription. You'd be surprised how many, it's just $10 charges are eating your margin.
Yes.
You paying $10 for this, you paying $10 for that. Oh, it's only $3.99 a month. It's only $4.99 a month. But if you and then when or if this is a trial and then you don't call them and cancel, it goes from $4.99 to $25.99, and you're wondering, well, how'd the bill go up? Yeah. Simplify them. Know what you're paying on a monthly basis. Know what they're ACHing out of your account on a monthly basis. Know what's going on. Remember, go back to optimizing. Refinance, reposition, optimize just what's going on with your accounts.
Yes. Here's one mindset that we love to teach. Every dollar you spend is a seed.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, what harvest will this produce? Will it grow your peace, your purpose, or your legacy? So just think about that.
Now, let's talk about why this matters. The why behind all of this is not just for your wallet, it's for your soul.
Yeah.
When you choose to live within your means, you're not denying yourself, you're repositioning or you're positioning yourself to walk in provision, to walk in purpose,
Yes.
and to walk in peace. And that's what we're called
Exactly.
to do.
Yes, exactly. Exercising spending restraint isn't punishment, it's wisdom. It's stewardship. And it's how you move from a life of pressure to a life of peace.
Yeah.
And it says, I trust God to provide, and I trust myself to make wise choices. So imagine this: you have a savings account large enough to secure your family in the face of change. Imagine you're not buying to impress, but investing with intention.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that you're free from the pressure of performing and living in the peace of provision. Imagine building wealth to retire well and leave inheritance for your children.
Wow.
This is what it means to walk in your steward identity. You know that when you live below your means, you're not missing out. You're building something lasting and you're making room for joy, impact, and freedom.
What you just said right there is phenomenal. When you live below your means, you're not missing out.
Mm-mm,
That's when you know your steward identity.
mm-mm,
Living within your means is more than budgeting,
mm-hmm.
it's a faith decision.
It is.
It's declaring that your identity is not in your purchases, but in his promises, in his
Absolutely.
presence, as we said
Absolutely.
earlier.
Absolutely.
Luke 14:28 tells us, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost? Planning, it isn't unspiritual.
We keep
It isn't.
reminding you of that.
It's wisdom in action.
Yes.
It is wise to plan.
Yes. And also, know that what we're talking about right now is not saying that the time won't come. We're talking specifically about a season when your margin isn't doesn't have the capacity to handle some of the extravagant purchases or the extra spending. Now,
Yeah.
as you begin to build this discipline, this muscle of budgeting and saving and building your joy fund and all the other savings buckets that we're going to talk about in our next episode, your storehouses, you will be able to engage in all of that. So you don't have to feel like, because people feel like when they have to live within a budget or live within their means that is so restrictive that then they quote unquote feel broke.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have
Mm-hmm.
to feel that way. And
No.
this is why we're talking to you about the mindset behind that. Because your spending should reflect your vision, not your fears. And when you align your money with your vision, everything changes. Remember, you have a financial vision for your future. Is your spending in alignment with that? And so as you do that, you're going to continue to increase your capacity so that you can have more margin to do some of the other things that you love. But you have to recognize the season that you're in. And we talked about this before in an earlier episode, and maybe we need to bring it back. There are going to be times when you have a season of frugality. There will be times when you'll do that. But then there'll also be times when you're going to have seasons of abundance and plenty. And
Yes.
then, yeah, you'll be able to do what you want. But you have to be careful not to allow living within your means to cause you to have a scarcity mindset. Don't allow living within your means to make you have a scarcity mindset, because this is the two is not the same. This is not what we're saying. We're saying that you know the capacity, that you have the heart of living as a steward, not an owner, but as a manager of God's resources.
That's
And as
right.
a manager of God's resources, you are in tune, you are aligned, and you are effectively managing all that He is providing for you, not just for now, but also for the future.
And you know, because of your faith in him, that he's going to provide all the promises that he said he would. So the
Yes.
abundance for you is there. It's coming. It is just on the other side of your faith. So
Yes.
just make sure that you are doing that. Living beyond your means can be a negative. You just have to learn to make the changes to change that. We always want to encourage you. Sometimes when we bring reality to you, you might say, oh no, I
Here
got to
they
do this.
go. No.
So we want to encourage you.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, listen, you're not behind. You're just one decision away from clarity. Living within your mean doesn't shrink your life, it stretches your faith. It
Yes.
stretches it. Let this be your mind shift today. My spending habits are a reflection of my true desire. I'm
Yes.
building wealth for purpose, not performance.
Mm.
You are
And when you're
building wealth.
tempted, yes. And when you're tempted, remind yourself today, I count my blessings and appreciate what I have. I
Yes.
envision myself enjoying my future thanks to the decisions I make today. Also, remind yourself that self control is within me. Why? Because of the Holy Spirit. So, self control is within me, and I am free from the pressure to impress. I am loved for who I am, not what I have.
So let's reflect with a few powerful self coaching questions for you. The first one, ask yourself, what can I do to resist the temptation to spend too much? Reflect on that.
That's good.
What can you do? Another one, when was the last time I balanced my budget and made a financial plan?
We
How
have
would
to
you answer
remind
that?
you. We got to ask you.
How would you answer? And the last question that I want to leave with you is, what is my vision for my financial future? Did you write that vision? Is it plain to you? Remember, your vision is valid. It's valid to you. Your purpose is worth protecting, and your wealth is waiting on the other side of wise decisions. And that's the route that you're on now to making those wise financial decisions.
And if you're ready to take the next step toward clarity, control, and confidence in your finances, your journey starts with the Steward Identity Experience. It is an audio lesson and private podcast. It's the first step to shifting your mindset and aligning with God's plan for your money.
Now you can access it now. Just head to the show notes or go to bit.ly/Steward Identity Experience. This is your invitation to stop the cycle and step into strategy. We're going to meet you there. We want to, as always, seal every episode with wisdom from the word. So before we go, let's anchor today's conversation with the truth of God's word.
Well, out of all the scriptures we shared throughout this discussion, the one that sticks out to me the most is the Galatians. The Galatians
Oh,
chapter 6, verses 4, that says, again, pay careful attention to your own work, for then you will get the satisfaction of a job well done, and you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else. Now, this is a different version. I think I read the amplified version previous, but this version just sums it up beautifully. Pay careful attention to your own work.
you're
Then
right.
you'll get the satisfaction of a
Yeah.
job well done because
Yeah.
you won't need to compare yourself to anyone else.
You are so right. This verse is such a reminder to focus on your journey, your stewardship, and your God-given assignment. Comparison, it can be a thief, but contentment,
That's it.
that's where clarity and joy live. So we
So,
remove ourselves from
yeah.
comparison,
Yes.
and we embrace contentment and the joy and
Yes.
clarity that comes with it.
Yes. So tuck Galatians chapter 6, verse 4 into your truth vault. Let it ground you. Now, remember, your truth vault is that place in your heart so that whenever you are tempted or feeling tension about any thing in life, you can go right to that truth vault and remember that word. That's your affirming word. That's your declarative word. Let it ground you. Let it guide you. So that in this case, if you're tempted to overspend or live for the approval of others, you can remember that verse.
Just remember, you're already enough. You're already loved. You're already equipped with the power to make wise, spirit-led decisions with your money. You got that already.
And remember, when you live below your means, you're not living less. You're living led, spirit led.
Glory. 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 That's a powerful word. Now, in 2 weeks, we're returning with a brand new episode about savvy savings because we're flipping the script.
Yep.
Stop thinking about what you're missing and think about
Yes.
what you're making room for. We're showing you how to make savings feel less than a sacrifice.
That's right. Oh, and I can't wait. Oh, we're so excited to talk about that. So
Yeah.
remember, our end goal for you is to activate the power of your steward identity and discover your unique path to financial fulfillment. Trusting God, trusting yourself, and trusting the process. Don't forget to subscribe. We would love for you to leave a review, a comment, share this episode on your social media. So we're going to say goodbye for now and continue to tap into wealth and wisdom together.